If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Bill Bateman's in Perry Hall. Give it up again for Dennis Pitta. Now, Dennis, I have to ask, how's your hand? You've signed quite a few autographs here tonight.
Yeah, it's starting to cramp a little bit.
Good thing you're not playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Are you questionable? Would you be questionable for the game on Sunday?
I might be questionable. Fortunately, I got a week to rest.
Well, we should get on our soapbox for a minute. He has signed every item with a smile and a greeting, and he has been terrific. This is why 70,000 people will be out there next Sunday, because of things like this. This is not happening in New England tonight. It's not happening in Green Bay, I don't think. But this is guys like this are why you people go to the games. All 70,000 of you. Dennis, being here a couple years, do you get the sense how much this football team means to this community? A few fans walk by, they're talking about how being in the playoffs is going to boost the local economy, getting a home playoff game, but just how much of a sense after 2 years into this thing do you get as far as the Baltimore fans and the connection they have with this football team?
Yeah, I mean, it's tremendous, the support we have here, and you know, when I first came here, they said Maryland's all about crab cakes and football, and I didn't know how true that was until I'd been here a little while. But that's what it's all about. You know, they take their football pretty serious, and they're passionate about it, and you know, the fans are just tremendous here.
Do you get used to the idea of signing autographs now? You've been a pro for a couple years now. Of course, you're a pretty big deal at BYU, and was there a point where you just said, okay, this is part of the deal, or is it still something that you feel funny about? Like, you know, why is everyone making such a big deal about it?
Yeah, I mean, it is funny because, you know, you never think anybody wants your signature. And, you know, people ask me to sign their sweatshirts or shirts or whatever, and I just think I'm ruining it. But, I mean, people enjoy it, and, you know, we've done enough of this now to where, you know, you kind of get used to it, but it's still kind of funny. Take us back to draft day. You talked about the combine. Obviously, you knew unless you went there and ran a 5.2, somebody was going to pick you. And sort of take us through. Did you have an inkling that the Ravens were going to be the team? Where were you when you got the call? The whole 9 yards. I was just at home at my parents' house, and we were kind of sitting around just waiting. And
you saw 410 and you said,
"Yeah, well,
where's 410?"
I mean, I knew the Ravens was a possibility going into the draft, but you know, they took Ed Dixon in the 3rd round, and I figured I'd, you know, kind of written them off, and they had their tight end, and 4th round came around, and all of a sudden I see a 410 number, and you know, I was a little bit confused, but you know, Ozzie was on the phone, and they selected me, so it was kind of. Not after that 3rd round, I didn't really anticipate going to the Ravens, but couldn't be happier. I had Eric on the show that following week, and he said that we could go back and listen to it. He said in his Northeastern drawl, which I'm not very good at, he said, "I'm telling you, you're going to like these 2 tight ends we picked. You watch and see, Dixon and Pitta. You're going to like them both." So Eric was on your, you know, he was on your good side right away. Nice. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's unusual to see a team draft tight ends like that back-to-back. So it came as a surprise to me, but especially with Todd Heap here at the time. But obviously it's worked out, and it's been a good deal. Now, Dennis, on Sunday against Cincinnati, you lined up quite a bit like a wide receiver. And we've seen that from time to time this year. Of course, the injury to Lee Evans left the Ravens a little thin, a little inexperienced at wide receiver. You've split out. Dixon has split out in the slot from time to time. And Harbaugh was asked about that this week. He asked about the versatility you bring as a tight end. And I thought it was interesting the way he answered that question. He basically said, "I don't really consider Dennis Pitta a tight end. He's kind of a hybrid. I mean, he does everything." Just tell us a little bit. I mean, we see it around the league now over the last 10 to 12 years. It started with Tony Gonzalez, Todd Heap, Antonio Gates. The evolution of the tight end position and how it's just not the line up in the 3-point stance, block most of the day, and maybe you go out for a couple passes. Yeah, I think the position has really evolved in the last 10 years or so, and you know, I think as a tight end you're expected to catch the ball just as much as you're expected to block now, and you know, it's just part of the job. And like you mentioned, I flexed out quite a bit last week against Cincinnati and did some things from the receiver position that I normally don't do. But it's something that I think I'm comfortable with, and playing high school football in Moore Park, California. I saw some Moore Park people in here earlier. I don't know if they're still here, but I was a wide receiver, and I went to BYU as a wide receiver, and eventually made the switch to tight end. So it's something that's been natural for me and comfortable for me, and it was a lot of fun to be able to kind of do that again this last game.
Now, other than wide receiver, if you could play any other position, and when we have our live shows, we like to ask these types of things, get you thinking a little bit. If you could play any other position on the football field other than wide out, because, heck, you play that a little bit, what would it be?
I know I could play quarterback.
Really? Have you told Flacco that?
Ray Rice threw a ball earlier this year. You deserve a crack at it, right?
Yeah, I definitely deserve a crack at it.
That wasn't really a throw Ray made. It was more of it was like a lob. Yeah, it was good though.
No, it was good. We got a touchdown out of it. But no, I played quarterback growing up, and I definitely think I could do it. I got what it takes.
Hey, the lockout over the off season, most guys that I talked to fell into one of two camps. They were either not at all interested and said, just call me when we go back to work, or they were really interested and they were absorbing all the information, and they wanted, it's a little bit like a political situation. They were going to make a vote and they wanted to know all the details. Where did you fall? How interested were you throughout the whole process?
I was kind of the guy who just said, let me know when it's all over. Because, initially you try and keep track of what's going on, and there's conflicting reports from everybody, so you never knew what was going on. And so I just kind of shut it all out, was out training and getting myself ready for the season, and when they called, and so that's kind of how I handled it.
We hear all the time from the rookie year to year two, that's a huge off season. So really, obviously by that point you understand the playbook, you know what you're doing, but that's really the time where you can put in that off season work. Was it concerning for you as a player? Obviously during the off season you didn't know that Todd Heath wasn't going to return, but did you feel any extra anxiety that you didn't have that opportunity to be at the facility, to work with Flacco, and to put in that off season time in Owings Mills?
Yeah, it's always tough, especially when you're coming off a rookie season and still trying to get a grasp of the offense and everything. And fortunately, I was able to connect with Joe a couple times during the lockout, and we were able to throw and do some things like that. And so, we weren't totally in the dark, but it definitely is tough to not have OTAs and that whole off season to really make those strides that people make from their rookie season to their second year. And so it was tough, but everybody was facing that same challenge, and I knew I would be able to prepare myself where I was at, and I was actually down in Arizona with Todd most of the time, where I could work with him and continue to learn from him and do some things. So it worked out well for me.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.